It's a nice soft evening here in Sandmount on Sunday, the 23rd of May. But to put the lie to the thought that the weather's always good here, we've had a bit of a blast there a few days ago. But after all that wind and rain, the potatoes have stood up well to them and they looked well scrubbed. We're going to have some fun here with the 6 different varieties, deciding which one is the earliest. Oh, loads of rain at the moment. Earlier on in the spring, there was practically a drought, and in order to conserve the moisture, I cut more grass and put it on top. And here I'm ridging up the earth from the forest. We also had a slight touch of frost, but very little damage. Yeah, the stalks are a little bit shaken up by the wind, but look at the onions and the shallots along the shoulder. They're doing really well. I want to change the nomenclature, the name, the title of the type of horticulture that was practiced in Ireland for hundreds of years. It was referred to as the lazy bed method. Now, as far as I can make out, that really was a slur on the Irish. The English, coming from the so-called high farming tradition, looked very askance at the Irish peasant with his spade, and even though he was producing fabulous crops of potatoes from very inhospitable soils high up the mountains and right down on the shoreline, and sometimes with no soil at all, and creating soil and creating fantastic produce, but seemingly to do it in a very short space of time with very little effort. And then they went off, from the English point of view, they had too much leisure in their hands. They were lazy. In other words, they went off drinking and carousing and having more children or whatever. This wasn't the English Protestant way. So they called it the lazy bed method. And it was only when some English guys began to copy the methods that it was kind of recognized as a very, very superior type of horticulture. But the English landlords who practiced it in the middle of the 19th century and won gold medals for copying the Irish and so on, they got all the credit, and the Irish never did. Now, I prefer to refer to the ridge-making methods as, well, the ridge-making methods, definitely not lazy beds. The cultivation of potatoes in that particular way did allow a lot of leisure time. And that leisure time was mopped up very, very largely by working for the farmers, maybe sometimes the very small farmers, who allowed the cottier class, the landless people, to use an area to grow their potatoes in exchange for their labour on the farm. And this is what happened with millions and millions of people in the 18th century and into the 19th century. And right up to the beginning of the 20th century. In fact, they were a slave class, but without the privileges of slaves. Look up Arthur Young's tour in Ireland, 1776. A landlord himself, he condemned land holding and praised the cottiers. And then the incredible story of W. Stuart Trench, a bit of a fool, but the story is fascinating in terms of the detail of the cultivation system. Oh, the praties, they are small over here. Oh, the praties, they are small over here. Ah, the praties, they are small, and we eat them in the fall, and we eat them skins and all. Over here, over here, over here.